Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about 5 study techniques that are so ineffective that ideally you should have given them up like 5 years ago. But alas, the best time to give them up was 5 years ago. The next best time is now. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Study technique number 1, highlighting. Highlighting is a very popular passive study technique. While it may be helpful in familiarizing yourself with newer bits of information, highlighting is one of the most ineffective ways to study and retain information long term. Research has also found that students erroneously believed that they were engaging with the material in an active way when they were just passively highlighting stuff. But this is not to say that highlighting is not effective at all. It is really good to help you discern important information from a sea of unimportant ones, so that when you come back to it, you know what you're actually looking for. That being said, it is really important to use a range of study techniques, including active study methods, that help you actually absorb and retain the information for the long term. Think of using things like flashcards or quizzes or mind maps to test yourself. Study technique number 2, cramming. Now, don't even try lying to me. All of us at some point in our life have tried cramming for the test or the exam the next day. While cramming can help you pass the test the next day, how beneficial is it if you're going to be retested on that information, say in your final exams? Research has found that 99% of college students cram. Since cramming involves learning large bits of information in a short amount of time, your brain doesn't have enough time to consolidate all the information that you've just learned into long-term memories, meaning it's harder to retain them and recall them at a later date. Cramming may also stress you out because you may realize that you actually have a lot more to learn than you realized. You aren't nearly as prepared as you thought, leading you to trade hours of sleep for hours of cramming. And that leads us on to our next point. Study technique number 3. Pulling all-nighters. Now, I know, sleeping may sound like a waste of time when you've got a test next day and you aren't nearly as prepared as you thought you were. But just hear me out for a second, alright? Sleep might seem easily dispensable, but it is vital in helping us transfer our short-term memories from the short-term stores to the long-term ones so that you can actually recall the information that you spent hours trying to learn. Furthermore, giving up on sleep actually has a negative impact on your attention and retention. Studies show that when subjects were asked to recall a bit of information that they learned after a delay of about 12 hours, if the delay was filled with periods of sleep as opposed to periods of wakefulness, their recall was enhanced. Moreover, there are studies to show that if a student gives up sleep to study more than usual, they're actually more likely to perform poorly in the assignment or the test the next day. All the more reason to go to bed so that whatever you've learned till now, you've actually learned it well. Study technique number 4, multitasking. Now, how many of us actually believe that our brains can multitask? Well, I'm here to tell you that that's a myth. The bottleneck theory of attention suggests that our minds can only allocate our attention to one task at a time. So while you may believe that you are multitasking, actually your brain's just switching attention very fast from one stimuli to the next. Multitasking also decreases productivity because our minds are having to allocate our attention very quickly from one stimuli then to the other. And this focus and refocusing on studying actually decreases efficiency, meaning that study sessions tend to get longer than there is actual need for. Studies also show that our short-term memory stores, or the STM, only have a capacity about 3 to 4 meaningful chunks. Now, that might seem outrageous, and you might say that actually you can remember more things than that. And while that is true, the memory store that we use to handle all our on-hand cognitive tasks is the short-term memory, and the capacity is severely limited. So you'd be better off finishing that conversation with a friend that just spilled some juicy gossip and then focusing all your attention on studying. Study tip number 5. Prioritizing quantity of time studied as opposed to the quality of the study. This is something that I am quite guilty of, but for good reason. It is quite gratifying to say that, oh, I actually studied 8 hours yesterday. The dazzled looks that you get from your friend or the proud remark from the teacher, that truly serves as an ego boost and maintains the illusion that to study longer must equal better. However, I'm here to break that wall. Studying for longer periods of time is not necessarily better, and hustle culture has convinced us that to do something for a longer period of time is better. However, when it comes to studying, longer study sessions can lead to disengagement with the actual material that you're studying with, meaning that you just go through the motions of studying without actually absorbing the information actively. That could lead to study sessions being longer than there's actual need for, cutting into your sleep or your other social activities. While it may sound counterproductive, having a little bit of time, even during exam season, to engage in your favorite hobby will not only boost your mood, it also helps focus and it induces optimism, all the while preventing burnout. That's something we all love, we all aim for and should aim for. These were the 5 study techniques that I believe are quite ineffective and we should all get rid of them from our study routines. Head over to my blog, which is linked in the description below, to find all the references to the studies that I've mentioned in this video, as well as a longer explanation to each of these study techniques. That's all for now. I'll see you in my next video. Happy studying! Bye!